Let me start by saying that Cowboy Bebop isn't exactly what would spring to mind when someone says the word anime. It hasn't got over-the-top facial expressions when something funny happens, bright, colourful scenery, or a J-pop opening that'll be catchy for a little while and then be whisked away by the winds of obscurity. In fact, at first glance, Cowboy Bebop doesn't seem to be much of an anime at all. Is that a bad thing? Definitely not. It's a breath of fresh air, and one of the most unique and unforgettable anime series I've ever seen. The story is set in the 2070s. Mankind has made its way to space, and crime is at an all-time high. Because of this, a bounty system was put in place, and bounty hunters, or cowboys as they are commonly called in the series, run rampant, always looking for their next hit so they can make enough cash to survive. And this is where we meet our main characters, 4 unlikely bounty hunters and their dog, who all live together on the titular ship, the Bebop. Spike Spiegel is a former crime syndicate member and the protagonist of our story. He's a master of firearms and hand-to-hand combat, and to be quite blunt, he's just the freaking coolest character I've ever seen in my life. Jet Black is a former police officer with a cybernetic arm who quit his job due to his disgust at the corruption of the force. Faye Valentine is a sly and somewhat egotistical woman with a gambling addiction and a mysterious past. Edward is a young girl. Yes, girl, though her appearance and name may lead you to think otherwise. Who is an intelligent master hacker, although she seems completely insane. Finally, we have Ein, the crew's dog, who due to experiments conducted on him in the past, has enhanced intelligence. All of these characters are incredibly interesting. When they are introduced to you, you don't know much about them, but their backstories are slowly revealed as the crew continues to hunt bounties, with each twist and turn even more gripping than the last. The characters' stories are not the only thing that the series focuses on, however. Many episodes simply focus on the day-to-day life of the crew, which really adds to the detail of the world around them. I especially liked one episode, where Spike and Jet have to find a device to watch an old Betamax tape on. After going to the ends of the earth to try and find a VCR, they find out it's a VHS player, and because tapes are far before their time, they don't know any better. It's the small details like this that really build the world of Cowboy Bebop. Speaking of the story structure, another thing that sets it apart from other anime is the overarching storyline. Although there is one, for the vast majority of episodes, it isn't very apparent. Aside from a few two-parters, most episodes are just their own self-contained little story, occasionally with nods to the overall story. This really is a nice break from watching a 300 plus episode shonen anime, where aside from filler, you can't really miss an episode. Just throw on a random episode and enjoy a thrill ride that will wrap itself up in 20 minutes. Next I'd like to talk about the music and animation. The music, which is mainly jazz and the blues, plays a huge part in giving Cowboy Bebop its overall feeling. And on top of this, most episode titles are references to songs. For example, Bohemian Rhapsody or Sympathy for the Devil. The soundtrack, composed by the legendary Yoko Kanno and her band The Seatbelts, is simply one of the best I've ever heard. From the opening theme to the final song played in the series, it's just fantastic, and I blast it on my iPod wherever I go. The animation is top notch, and never ceases to amaze me. There's great amount of detail and fluid, lifelike movement. Next I'd like to talk about the dub. And when it comes to the dub, Cowboy Bebop is the best of its kind. I know a lot of people who only watch anime in Japanese because it's the original language, which is fair enough, but even they make the exception for Cowboy Bebop, just because it's so damn good. My favourite performance in the dub, though they're all good, is probably Steve Bloom as Spike, because not only does he capture the sheer badassery of Spike, he also produces a convincing and heartfelt performance during the more emotional scenes.
There's no thrill in the cheap ones, Asimov, you know?
I think you do better as a thief, bounty boy. Now hand it over.
Sure, I'd be glad to. I have to pay you back, don't I?
The original Japanese version is fantastic too, but if you're someone who usually watches anime in Japanese, and there's one dub you need to check out, it's this one. This is my first proper video review, and although I feel kinda bad about doing one of my most favourite series ever as my first review, screw it, it's my channel, I'll do what I want. Masterpiece is one of the few words that can describe Cowboy Bebop. It's a wild ride of action, tragedy, and just flat out awesomeness. I give it a solid 10 out of 10. If you call yourself an anime fan, do yourself a favour and check out this series, although you probably already have. I'm Ness, signing out. Thanks for checking out my review, and I'll see you guys next time.